What if you could play in any key without staring at a chord chart or memorizing a bunch of chords? That would be pretty cool. I very rarely play bass and lead worship at the same time, but it's happening this weekend. I'm playing bass and singing and leading worship at the same time. And even though bass has less strings, I find myself practicing way more. So in this video, I'm gonna share with you some tips, some tricks, how you can make sure you fret not your fretboard. That's corny. But first of all, I want to get a shout out to someone who made a fantastic HX Stomp bass preset. See, the recent 3.6 update came out, and it came out with several new cabs, bass cabs, and a new bass amp. And yesterday, because I was playing bass, I'm like, I'm gonna make the best bass preset ever. And I made one that sounds pretty good, but I got a hold of this preset a few weeks ago, and as I toggled back and forth, I was like, this one sounds amazing. So I thought, instead of promoting my own stuff, which if you want to support the channel, Expanse pack down below. Instead of plugging my own stuff, I would plug this. This one's called Worship Bass, and it's made by Adam Truitt. So I'll link it down below. Y'all go support him and his channel and grab this bass preset. It's only like $8. So go do it. This is one I'll be using today because it sounds good. Thanks, Adam. Now, what I'm gonna be sharing with you today is kind of pulling the curtain back on the Nashville number system. Now, I know some of you are like, oh, I know the Nashville number system, and that's great. If you don't know it, stick around and don't be scared, because a lot of people hear Nashville number system and they get scared because they're like, I don't want to have to learn something new. I don't want to have to study guitar. I just want to play guitar. And I understand that completely. But understanding these principles I'm gonna share with you today will free your playing like never before. If you're like me, I'm very visual, so I'm not interested in you like memorizing the Nashville number system chart or memorizing all the chords. That's not what we're gonna do today. We're gonna be focused on memorizing simple, very simple and basic shapes that are gonna free you up. So let's dive in. All right, the first thing we wanna know is what key we're playing in and what the root of that key is. So for example, if we're gonna play in the key of G, we need to find a G note. And we're gonna use that one right there. 3rd fret with the dot, easy to find, G. I start there because most people when they start learning guitar is G, C, and D. So step number 1, find the root, it's G. Step number 2, we're gonna find an octave of G. So another G, not a different note per se, the same G, but an octave higher. And the thing I want you to remember is 2 strings down, 2 frets up. 2 strings down, 2 frets up. 2 strings down, 2 frets up. That's an octave. Step number 3 is to practice with different notes. So the same principle applies. 2 strings down, 2 frets up. Let's pick a different note, like D. Hopefully you can see the shape. And it works everywhere. Pick a different note. Awesome. All right, step number 4, we need to find and learn the 3 other most common chords or notes in the key that makes up most modern worship. These are known as the 4, 5, and 6. So if the root is 1, we need to find 4, 5, and 6. Now what I'm gonna do to lock this in your brain is we're gonna learn 2 basic shapes, an L shape and a T shape. First, the L shape. If we find our root, always the 1, a G in this example. And now I want you to think about an L shape. Now this L shape is backwards and upside down depending on how you're looking at it, but just think L. Go to your root, go down 1 string, and that's your 4. Move up 2 frets, and that's your 5. Move up 2 more frets, and that's your 6. 1, 4, 5, 6. That's the L shape. But we also have the T shape. So let's go back to our octave, because this is also the 1. So now you got to think like a T shape. So we have the 1 here, 4, 5, 6, or the 1, 4, 5, 6, or another L, 1, 4, 5, 6, because it's the octaves. Now, I know some of you, your brains just exploded in freedom because it's that simple. Those shapes move around the whole fretboard to make up most of the songs we play. How cool is that? So step number 5, now that you know those 4 positions and think T and L shapes, all you have to do is memorize patterns of songs and we can play along, no matter what key it's in. So let's take, for example, the song Waymaker. I happen to know that the chord progression in that song is 4, 1, 5, 6. If we were to play it in the key of G, what is the 4 chord? Well, 1, 4, 5, 6, 4. The pattern we want is 4, 1, 5, 6. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. But you know what? Someone just came in, a worship leader came in late and they didn't prep right. They didn't tell the worship leader they can't sing it in G, they need to sing it in the original key that Leland sings it in, which is an E, I believe. So if we're gonna play an E, well, we gotta find an E. And then we need the 4 chord, which would be A, B, C sharp. But even if you didn't know those notes, you can still find the pattern and play the song. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Now let's play it in E again, but move patterns. Let's find a different E. How about this E right here? We can use our T shape, which is the same as Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness, my God, that is who you are. Just like that. All right, with what you know and a little bit of practice, you're freed up to play a lot of worship music. But the next step, step number 6, we need to learn the 3 remaining notes or chords in the key, because these really help with like the movement of a song, like where it's going dynamically. We need to learn these other 3. And if you notice the numbers we've left out, those are the 2 chord, the 3 chord, and the 7 chord. Let's focus on the 2 and 3 right now. We know where the 1, 4, 5, 6 is. Now all we gotta do is fill in 2 and 3, which follows the same pattern. We're just filling up the remaining blocks that we didn't fill up on this bottom string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7 is right before the 1. Or down here, because our 1 is here. And another little trick is that the 3 comes right before the 4 as well. Same notes. It's like the reason there's 2 white keys on a piano 2 times in the pattern, because the 7 and the 1 and the 3 and the 4 are right next to each other. So you have several different options. So let's pick the song This Is Our God by Phil Wickham. I happen to know that it starts on the 4, goes to the 1, and I sing in the key of A. I don't remember what key he sings it in, probably C or something. But so I need to find my root note, which is on the 5th fret right here. But it starts on the 4. So this is our God, this is who he is. He loves us, and this is our God, this is what he does. He saves us. He bore the cross and beat the grave. Let heaven and earth proclaim, this is our God, King Jesus. But what if somebody wants to sing it in a different key? Well, let's bring it back down to something weird like F sharp. This is our God, this is who he is. He loves us. And this is our God, this is what he does. He saves us. He bore the cross and beat the grave. Let heaven and earth proclaim, this is our God, King Jesus. See, I wasn't even thinking about chord letters right there. I was just thinking shapes and patterns, and I was freed up to play the song. Now from there, you can begin memorizing each of the chords, and you'll get to know them as you play more and more, and you memorize how different chords work in each key. But don't let that lack of memorization keep you from being an excellent player and keep you glued to a chord chart. You can do this. Think shapes, think the T and L, don't forget those. Learn the root, find the shapes, be ready to go. You got this, go play.